Brett Siegel has some reporting on a potential Kevin Durant trade, what the Phoenix Suns are going to be looking for in it, and who they could be trading with.
Yeah, shout out to our guy Brett Siegel over at ClutchPoints. He's been tapped in recently, has a lot of good sources around the league. The first quote that stood out was, "It's certainly not a given that Durant will be moved in the coming months. Ishbia and the Suns will not accept less value in a trade involving Durant than they initially sent out to get him. At 36, Durant is still one of the most dynamic scorers in the league, and Phoenix understands they would be aiding any team's championship pursuit by handing them the future Hall of Famer on a silver platter." He also mentioned that none of the big three were pleased with Budenholzer's coaching. An immediate change was needed, and who the team hires next as their head coach will have a clear impact on Durant's future. So a couple of things there. I do think the Suns are going to hold out for value. I don't think they trade Kevin Durant just to trade him. And I think there will be more of a market than people are anticipating just because he is Kevin Durant. But at the same time, you're like the whole line about getting as much value as they gave up for him. That's just not realistic. You're not getting that
It's
much
posturing
value.
season.
It is. It's
you
100%.
got to throw it out there, Steven, because if you don't, somebody else is going to say, oh, Kevin Durant's gone, and they're not going to get anything for him.
Yeah, that was just an automatic type of answer.
Yeah.
Was not surprising to hear that one. Hopefully we see them stay aligned with that, though. I will say that.
I mean, is there a chance that they hold their ground and there are multiple suitors for KD and KD wants to go somewhere, but because they don't feel like they're getting enough value back, they go, well, we actually have the control here. We've learned from our good friend Bradley Beal that we can do whatever we want, and we're not going to trade you. We're going to keep you here in Phoenix because we do know that Kevin Durant is a worker and somebody who's going to just show up to hoop. Do we see that as a possible scenario?
Well, for me, I've been saying all along, KD has never stated that he wants to go.
Mm.
He might have given options for teams if a trade does have to happen, but he's never said, I'm done, get me out of here.
Mm.
Because of that, I feel like it's not out the realm to think that he might potentially be back. If it's that they can't find a trade that makes sense for them, or they just don't feel like they're getting the return that they need for KD. So I can see it, honestly.
Right. I think there is still an avenue where he's back. I don't think, because we have heard Brett Siegel now, I think Chris Haynes alluded to this as well, that like the coaching search could have an impact on Kevin Durant. I don't know how true that is. I think it's mostly going to be if the Suns want to trade Kevin Durant and they feel good about the return they're getting, it's probably going to happen. They're probably going to work together. But to your point, Kevin Durant has never been the one initiating any of this. I think he's kind of accepted this for what it is and understands like, okay, if I work together with them, we're more than likely to get me to a new spot where I would also want to play. I think Kevin Durant's been around long enough to understand if I go about it a certain way and say, nope, it's this team or nobody, that hurts my chances of being traded to where I want to go.
Yeah, Kevin Durant also said, though, when he did that podcast with Draymond Green in the middle of the season, which kind of felt like a fever dream when that happened, that he knows when he moves to a team, that team's going to be giving up a lot. So why would he want to move in the middle of the season? I think part of the negotiation tactics on KD's end and wanting to continue to compete at the end of his career is for the Suns not to get back what they gave up in a package for him. If anything, KD wants to be moved for as little as possible because he doesn't care about what his former team is doing. He cares about what his new team is doing. And if that new team is mortgaging their future and their now to bring in Kevin Durant might not want to go there. So there's also that aspect in all of it, Steven, where Kevin Durant doesn't want to go to a team that just gutted itself like the Phoenix Suns did and then had to pick up the pieces as he enters the end part of his career, however long that might be, as he gets closer to 40.
And I think that's part of the reason why he hasn't been the one that's initiating those trade conversations, because he understands the business and the nature of trading for someone that has, for one, the contract that he has. It's hard for teams to compile enough talent to match that without gutting their roster. But then you also factor in the talent value or draft capital to have to come back to the team that he's leaving as well. Understands how complicated those things can be, and because of that, I think it's all taken into account.
And to that point, like I think the only time that like when Kevin Durant left Brooklyn, it was I want to be traded, but he was still playing with the Nets for most of that season. He didn't like put his foot down. He didn't say I'm going to sit out. He went out there. He did his job because he loves his job. He loves hooping, and that's what he did. So if the Suns don't find a trade that gives them the value that they want, Like, they could potentially bring him back, and it could be a problem depending on how they build around those two, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. I think it's more likely that he gets dealt and they find a trade and work together on one, but it's not out of the realm of possibility if they can't find the right trade that Kevin Durant just says, all right, I'm going to keep hooping with Devin Booker and we'll do what we do.
Well, I also think like he'll still look to be moved during the season then. Right. And is it possible? I don't know the rules on this, but if he signs his extension that he's eligible for, I believe a 2-year extension this offseason, is he still eligible to be traded during the season?
I would have to check. There's like a certain threshold of time between when he signs it and when he would be trade eligible. And I'm not sure if it would be before the trade deadline. I would need to see what the dates are.
If I remember correctly, that date is like, it would be like December sometime.
I think there's like there's a December date and there's a January date. And I don't know how that incorporates with contract extensions, because I think it was Lauri Markkanen signed one really late into this past season, which made him ineligible to be traded before the trade deadline. Yeah. But that wasn't an off-season extension. So I'm wondering if nothing comes to light during this off-season. KD and Ishbia both understand that a deal would be better for both sides if Kevin Durant is not on the final year of an expiring contract. Play throughout this season with the Suns, try to find a trade mid-season. I think that's on the table, but you're right, Gerald. There's a lot of steps you have to get to get there. So let us know what you think is going to happen with KD. Can the Suns get back what they gave up? Let us know in the comments below. And make sure you drop a like as well.